What's up, everybody? It's Bart Johnson here, and that is something I have not said live in, I think, almost 4 months. So it is great to be back live. I hope everything is working. I see we already have some people here in the stream. We've got so much stuff that I want to talk about today. I don't know how I'm going to fit everything in, but really I just kind of want to hang out and give you guys some updates and all sorts of stuff. Let's see, I got to remember how I do these streams, right? Well, of course, if it's your first time here, welcome. If you're not quite sure why it's been so long since I've had any content on the channel, let alone a live show, we'll get to that. Welcome. Today's a live show. I'm really happy to be here. Happy to have tons of people here. Hopefully we get a good chat going on, and I'll be pulling the chat up in just a little bit here. But first off, this is not the normal studio. This is not even my normal edit suite. It is not my normal computer. It is not my normal lighting. Basically, everything in this streaming setup is new. So if anything isn't working, you guys let me know, and I'll try and take care of it. But I think I got it working. And man, it's good to be back. Let's go ahead, and I'm just going to dive right in here and pull up our chat because that is my favorite part. I see we got tons of you guys in here already. ICE Entertainment, you were here early, man. I saw you were here about 30 minutes early. My buddy Alex Miner, good to see you. New Legend Pictures, good to see you, man. How you doing, Aaron? We got Trevor in here. Good to see all you guys. Gary Stockton, I see you posted as well. I have my chat up here. But anyway, obviously, guys, this is a live stream, so we're going to have our chat up here so you guys can converse with me and we can talk about all the different things we're going to talk about today. So let me give you guys a little bit of a rundown of what we're going to cover today because, like I said, there's so much. I want to make sure I don't get super scatterbrained and forget anything or gloss over anything. So I want to give you guys some updates on this channel, but also specifically on our house and my studio and my gear. Because as many of you know, we had a fire back in November, and we're sort of just now getting back to kind of normal-ish. Things are still very temporary, but we'll get into that. I do have a brand new computer that I bought during that time, so I want to talk to you guys a little bit about that. Some of you are probably going to think I'm insane for what I did. I've also got a new camera that I picked up and have been able to experiment with a little bit. And I want to share that with you guys, and I hope to make some more content on that camera and that setup in the near future here. And of course, we have just general news and everything that's going on, NAB cancellation, the worldwide, crisis that's kind of going on, everybody in quarantine. So maybe it's a good time for me to do the live stream again. You guys got nothing to do but hang out in your houses while I sit in my house, right? So there's a lot of stuff going on. So if you guys have anything also that you want to talk about or any questions or anything like that, feel free to pop into the chat here. I'm monitoring it the whole time. And we're just going to hang out and talk and chat and go through stuff because I haven't seen you guys in so long. So let's start off with that there. So updates. For those of you who may not know, we had a fire actually Thanksgiving night unfortunately in the basement where my studio was in our house. The furnace caught fire. We were not home, but there was a lot of destruction. Pretty much all of my stuff down there was destroyed by either fire or smoke or fire hoses. My studio was it's a complete mess. I made a video, a pretty emotional video because it was right after it happened, so I was a little tore up. But there's a link down below if you guys want to go and check that out about exactly what happened. I'm not going to go into huge details about it. People online have heard me talk about the fire for months. I don't want to be known as the fire guy. But we're coming back from that. So we are in a rental house. We're actually very near to our home, so we're able to pop over there every once in a while. Our home has been gutted and is all boarded up, and hopefully reconstruction will start soon. So my wife is an interior designer, so her firm is going to be doing it, which means we have the advantage of being a part of the entire reconstruction process, but has the disadvantage of it means all the planning and all the work sort of falls on her. So she's got a lot of stuff to do, but she's going to be working her way through that, and it's going to be awesome when everything is rebuilt. We've got designs. We've been planning some changes structurally to the studio in the basement and all that stuff. So it's going to be really cool when it's done in the future. But I haven't had any content or anything for several months because I didn't have any equipment. So all of my equipment that could possibly be salvaged was taken by an electronics company back in November. I guess it was technically early December when they pulled everything out to be inspected and cleaned, and anything that could be restored returned to me. Well, that stuff is back. And actually, it's a lot of stuff that came back. Pretty much everything that was down there that was in Pelican cases, more or less made it. It needed some deodorizing, but I mean, cameras, lighting kits, gimbals, anything I had in a Pelican hard case made it. And you know, there's a lot of stuff that didn't make it that was in softer cases or was just out and about. But we've been working with insurance and everything's gonna get replaced, which is awesome. So it'll be a long process, but I got a whole bunch of my stuff back last week, which is awesome. As you can see back here, I gotta get used to this again. There's my Pocket 6K, it's back. I got my Pocket 4K back. My Ursa Mini did not make it. It was out and on a tripod. So that got a little torched and soaked. But yeah, we're back up and going. Everything's good. As you can see, I've wasted no time in replacing the essentials. You know, my lightsaber collection was, you know, that's an essential. So that was pretty much one of the first things I actually started repurchasing because I got to make it feel like home here. So yeah, so that's where we are with that. It's going to be a long process, but I am getting up on my feet, getting going again. Obviously got enough to get a live stream and some lighting going on in here. We're going to get everything put back together, and we're hoping to be back in the other house before the end of the year. It's going to be a really long process, but you know, I'm going to learn to make this space work and see what I can do in here with the live streams. I don't know if you guys can actually tell. I tried to hide it as best as possible, but the walls in this room that I've claimed as my office are pink. So it's an interesting space. But let's see if we got anything in the chat here. Trevor says just hanging out, drinking coffee. Yeah, it's that kind of day. I have a feeling it's gonna be that way for quite a while. You know, everybody's stuck at home, just hanging out. Rob is in here. Good to see you, man. I know we've bumped into each other many a time in various other live streams and chats. And I see we have Jem from the C47 here. Jem, glad to have you, man. Welcome to one of my streams. So yeah, this is a whole new streaming setup today that I'm working with. I actually upped the bit rate. For those of you who are watching live, we have that new pre-roll. You know, I updated the intro music to match the music from my videos, and got some other stuff in there. You know, I've had a little bit of downtime, so I've been working on stuff that I can add to the stream and get it going. Yeah, it seems to be working so far today, so I'm pretty happy about that. Got a few new items and lights. I'm still using my my Panasonic G7. You know, I got another Panasonic G7 and I have it mounted here as my live stream camera. It's fantastic. But as the key light, where before I had an LS1 panel wall mounted from Aperture in my old office, I don't want to wall mount anything here, so I actually got the Elgato key light. And I believe I have a link down in the description. It's a little pricey for what it is, but it's a soft panel light. And the cool thing is that it actually connects wirelessly to the computer via your Wi-Fi network, and I can control it with my Stream Deck. And I don't have a second camera angle for you guys to see here, but I use an Elgato Stream Deck to do my switching on my streams. But I actually have buttons now to control the light, so even just from here I can push the button and that light shuts off, turns on. I can adjust the color temperature, I can put presets, I can adjust the brightness, all right here. It's actually pretty cool. Not sure it's worth the $180 that they asked for it. I mean, it does come with the nice mount, but you know what, I needed something. And I needed something because I can't bolt anything to the walls because this house is a rental. So actually, it's funny, these lightsabers, the mounts, I don't know if you can see, but I actually used heavy duty command strips, you know, those little sticky strips that you can then peel off later. That's how they're mounted to the wall, because I didn't want to drill into the walls, because then I got to patch them all up later. But yeah, so Jem says, good to see me up and running again. Dude, it is good to be up and running again. This feels so good. I can't tell if you guys can probably tell I'm a little excited to be here. I was really happy when I decided to do this stream and to get everything back up. So it's really good to be here. So much stuff to talk about. Trevor is asking, so what's the machine you're streaming through? You got a Mac Pro, didn't you? Well, I guess we're moving on to that subject then right away. Yes, I did. So during the fire, my office with my iMac and all of my streaming setup and my video editing setup seemed to be safe because it was closed off. But smoke did come in through the ventilation system, so there was some smell in that room. And so the electronics company did take the iMac and all of my computer equipment. So I was without. Now, this was during the holidays, so work was slow to non-existent, so I didn't really have to worry about it that much, you know, just kind of got by without having a computer. But as work started ramping up, so I work for a company and I do a lot of video editing for them, in addition to my own work. And I really needed a computer. So it was getting to the point where I was like, okay, we don't know when we're going to get this computer back. We don't know if we're going to get the iMac back. You know, they may say that like, oh, it pulled in too much smoke and it's in the internals and it's done. So while we did ask them to prioritize that, we couldn't know for sure. So long story short, I am one of those people who's absolutely crazy and bought a Mac Pro. So I wish I could show it to you. It is a tower. It's down over here on the floor. But yes, I bought a Mac Pro and I love it. It is a beast of a machine and I don't plan on upgrading my computers or my computer for, I don't know, 5 years now, hopefully. Probably more than that. My last one was a 2013 iMac, and I was actually doing pretty good with that one. I was editing 4K, no problem and whatnot, but I got this this Mac Pro. Let me pull up the specs. I don't even remember exactly what they are. I didn't go crazy. I didn't buy like the $53,000 configuration or anything like that. Let me see what I've got here. Okay, so I got the 3.3 gigahertz 12 core, so I did up the cores a little bit and went for the 12 core. I have 128 gigs of RAM, so I think I'm good for a while. And I have just a single graphics card. I have the AMD Radeon Pro Vega 2 32 gigabyte. So I didn't do the double crazy card that you can do in there. I have the option to add a second card in the future because it has the PCIe slots, but I did not do that. And a tip for you guys, I'm sure you guys, if anybody was looking at actually purchasing this computer knew this, Apple charges a ton for memory. So what I actually did was I only bought the computer from Apple with 32 gigs, the minimum, in the machine itself, and then I ordered the rest of the RAM, compatible RAM, 96 gigs of it from OWC, Other World Computing. They're great for selling, you know, Mac compatible kits and all that kind of stuff. So I saved a ton of money and was able to fill up all the slots and really upgrade the RAM on this machine. And I've got a triple monitor setup. I've been editing stuff. I've been playing with some 6K footage and whatnot, and it cuts through everything like butter. While yes, it is probably overkill, it is, like I said, it's an investment and it's a machine that I'm gonna have for years, and I think I'm gonna be able to throw pretty much any codec that exists right now, and at least several future codecs that may come out at this machine, and it should be able to handle it. So I'm really happy with it so far. You know, there's no affiliate links or anything down below for a Mac Pro. You know, that'd be awesome to have an affiliate link for someone who just decides to go and buy a $10,000 computer because I recommended it. But let's be real. You know, if you're someone who needs one of these, who does day in, day out video editing, 3D stuff, it's work. So it's a work machine, and it's a, you know, it's an all-around beast. So yeah, I did that. Another thing that I did to it as well is since it's, we're back to the days where you can actually modify these computers. I don't know why I said modify like that, but you can tell I'm thinking on the run. But it has those PCIe slots in there, so you can add expansion cards to do various things. So I actually added 2 cards that add 4 USB 3.2 ports. So I added 8 USB, and then I added another card that had 4 USB-Cs. So I have 4 more USB-Cs on it. And then I also added the Blackmagic DeckLink 4K card, capture card. So the computer itself now has an HDMI and an SDI input that can handle 4K. And that's actually how I'm inputting the stream right here into that. So I'm taking it from the Panasonic G7. I'm only doing 1080. I haven't played with any 4K streaming yet, but I could. And sending that just directly via an HDMI cable into the back of the computer. OBS, my software here, recognizes it, and it seems to be working pretty well. I was really happy to hear that that particular card was compatible with Mac Pros, which is pretty cool. Sorry guys, I know I'm going like a million miles a minute here, so if you need me to slow down and get my attention for something, just remember, you can always, I gotta get better at it this way. Right there. If you do really want to get my attention, try to use that at Bart Johnson Productions in the chat, and then it'll show up highlighted for me in the chat, so I can make sure that I see that you have a specific question for me. But let's see what we got in here. Trevor was asking about the machine. I just talked about the Mac Pro there. And a little chit chat back and forth. So Trevor's commenting says, if you have the cash, you can't do better than the Mac Pro. Or surprisingly, the MacBook Pro 16-inch right now. The MacBook is insanely fast. I've heard really good things actually about that new 16-inch MacBook Pro. I haven't looked at it or played with it or tested it or anything like that, but I've been hearing good things about it. So that is true. And yeah, the Mac Pro, it was one of those things where, if you add a whole lot more to it, you get to the law of diminishing returns. But I felt like this was a big enough step forward where I wasn't spending too much money. I didn't double up on the graphics cards. I didn't do the like 1.5 terabytes of RAM or whatever, unnecessary, at least for what I do. But for what I do, this machine is it's going to make its money back. It's going to make its money back. If we ever all get back to work, hopefully it'll make its money back within this year, but you never know. And then Trevor says, hey, if your house burns down, you're entitled to at least one splurge purchase. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's how I'll justify it. Like, my house burned down and, well, it didn't burn down. It's still standing and it looks okay from the outside, but the inside's all gone. But yeah, new computer. It made me feel good around Christmas time when I got it. So, yeah. Bad Karma's in here, says, hi bro, welcome back. Good to see you too, Bad Karma. I did see you commented in the chat actually for this yesterday. When I first had it up and, the chat was open, and I did see that, and I saw you were saying something about lost gear from it being stolen, and how you're still dealing with that. So I don't remember quite all the details about that. So if you want to talk about that, feel free to pop that into the chat there. Let's see here. Steve Holt, good to see you. A lot of the old crew coming back. I like to see that. Bad Karma says, did a lot of the gear still work? So yes, like I was saying, a lot of the stuff that was in Pelican cases, I'd say 90% of the stuff that was in Pelican cases survived. And that was probably about 75% of my stuff. So I am a case freak. I love building kits and cases and Pelican cases and all that stuff. That turned out to be a great thing because they protected from the heat, they protected from the smoke and soot, and they protected from the fire hoses that blasted everything in there. So stuff in soft cases, I lost a lot of stuff. There's just piles and piles still at the house of, light stands and C-stands that got, destroyed, and tripods and lighting kits that were in like soft cases and all that stuff, or all of my studio lights that were mounted and all that. So a lot did come back though, and is working, and that just came back to us like last week. and I'm super happy about it. Actually, we have a literal floor-to-ceiling mountain in the next room of bubble wrap because, you know, they individually bubble wrap each electronic thing when they brought it back. And yeah, it's floor-to-ceiling because there's all the electronics in the house. I mean, it's like TVs. That iMac computer did make it back and is okay and is working, and I actually gave it to my wife. Which is good because she didn't have a computer, and now she is also quarantined, you know, like everybody is, and working from home. So she's able to now, thank goodness, do her work. So that's pretty awesome. Let's see here. Damascus Diary, good to see you again, man. How are you? Alex Miner says, "Long live the G7." Yeah, like I said, you know, I got my fancy cams back, but I mean, for streaming, and even if you wanted to bump this up to 4K, there's my Lumix G7, man. That thing is a beast. So let's see here. Rob says, plus it'll look legit when you're cutting with a client. Yeah, you know, I don't usually do editing with a client sort of sitting in, but if I did ever do that, which, you know, when we redesigned my office at the other house, you know, I may do some designs to the structure that would maybe make my office a little bigger, and maybe I could have it be something where a client could come and sit in on an edit session with me, if they're a local client. And yeah, that'd be, you know, show them the fancy new cheese grater, and they know that he's legit, right? You know, more money means more legitimacy, right? Yeah, well, but yeah, you know, it would be good for that. Gary's asking how this virus is impacting my work. Okay, so you guys are taking care of all the little segues for me. I like this. I like this a lot. So yeah, as everybody knows, you know, we have this global, I guess they are officially calling it a pandemic right now, with this virus going around. I'm going to try and avoid saying the virus's name because pretty much any mention of it demonetizes the video because YouTube doesn't want to be flooded with content about it. But anyway, we have this going around. We have this situation that is disrupting commerce, travel, is disrupting businesses, and of course our industry, you know, production, entertainment, whatever you may be in, is not immune to it. We are getting hit as well. I know a lot of freelance people, you know, are struggling a bit because all of their gigs have been canceled. You know, clients either don't want to shoot or have to postpone things, and so incomes are fluctuating. And actually, I'm in that same boat. So yeah, my personal work is pretty much non-existent right now. And it actually hasn't been for a while because I was without any equipment. So not much of a change there for me over the past couple of months. But the company that I work for full-time, we are an international organization, and we produce tons and tons of content for organizations that then get screened at conferences. And so far, they've all been getting canceled, which puts a strain on the clients. And a lot of our clients are also healthcare related. And so either their facilities are closed, or they're just completely overwhelmed, or their physicians are, you know, forbidden to participate in something like a video shoot just for safety purposes because they're, you know, they're integral people. They need them healthy to handle this. So yeah, pretty much all work is kind of coming to a standstill. I do have a few projects that I've been able to keep going. They're mostly just editing and producing projects, but no shoots, no going out. It's going to be a rough time. I did see something that was a cool idea that someone had posted on one of the forums. I wish I could remember who did it. I really want to give them credit for it. I think it was one of my locals, Chad Horn. I think it was him. But anyway, he had this great idea of, or whoever it was had this great idea of, if you are somebody who frequently hires PAs or freelance production assistants or other people who are strictly freelance to help you out on your shoots, and these are people that you use pretty consistently, you know, they may be hurting during this time because they may not have as much money saved up, and now all their gigs are going away. And so there was this idea of reach out to the people that you use and that you bring in on your shoots, and maybe offer to pay them in advance for some future productions. So reach out to that PA that you use, on everything, or you know, your camera assistant or whoever it may be that you use on each thing, and say, hey, I'll pay you right now for, say, 3 days of work in the future. You know, I'll give you 3 days day rate, and you just keep those, you know, it'll be like a credit. And then when I need you, you know, the next 3 times, you know, it's no charge. But at least that'll, you know, if they need some money to help them ride through this lull until they can get back to work, you know, that's a kind of a cool idea. So maybe spread that idea around. I don't know if any of you are in that position to do that for anybody, but just, you know, just a kind of cool idea to kind of help everybody in this industry out. And let's see, what do we got here? Rob says, Bart's Back, the show, brought to you in part by Pelican. Yeah, I have been in touch with Pelican, and I've told them the story. They know all this stuff, and I told them, I was like, so when am I shooting my commercial for you? Because I got stuff to say, man. I got photos of what the cases look like before and after they came back to me, and what the contents look like inside, like pristine. Like it's kind of amazing. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. And they were so close to the fire. I mean, they were on the other side of a room. They must have been within like 15, 20 feet of where the heart of the fire was. It's just, it kind of blows my mind. It's like the luggage from Job versus the volcano. Let's see here. I'm catching up in the chat. Even if you guys have scrolled past, I really can't get the hang of it here. Can I hear it? It's over here. It's on this side of me. Even if it has gone by here, guys, don't worry. I do have the full chat window up here. So if I missed you, I will go pop into the chat here and try and keep myself on track and up to speed. Bad Karma says, yeah, I'm staying with my girlfriend at your girlfriend's house, at her mom's. They did not have time to homeowner insurance. I still haven't got my gear. Wow. Man, I'm really sorry to hear about that. And then Bad Karma says, did the computer in the house still work? I just came in and you were talking about the computer. Yeah, so like I did mention, the iMac did work, got cleaned up, and it's okay. And now belongs to my wife, who's very, very happy to have it and to be using it for all of her work, which is cool because now that computer is actually being used. The computer from the house is being used to redesign the new house. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, Aaron, New Legend Pictures saying, yeah, even all the union productions have been postponed and canceled. Yeah, everybody's feeling it everywhere. We just gotta, you know, hang in there and help each other however we can. By the way, you're not seeing things. This isn't like dirty water. It's iced tea in my water bottle, and my non-sponsored Atomos swag bottle that I've had for years. Alex is saying, yeah, all my gigs for the next few months are gone. Gary's saying our entire office is now working remote. Our videographer is now writing versus filming. Yeah, a lot of us have to pivot. You know, we gotta figure out what we can do. And you know, it's tough. There's no one size fits all for everybody, but hopefully, if people obey these, you know, this social distancing and this quarantine stuff, that, you know, hopefully the situation can get resolved and get things, you know, back on an upward trajectory, as opposed to the sort of holding pattern that we're in right now. For a while there, it seemed to be getting worse. It seems to hopefully be kind of plateauing a little bit and maybe get a little control, but we'll see. You know, this thing changes so quickly day by day, so just got to do what we can. So yeah, let me know what you guys are doing, and if you have any recommendations for people for what to do during these quarantine times or anything like that. I'm just riding it out, and now that I've got my live streaming up, you know, who knows, maybe we'll do 2 streams a week. I'm not promising anything, but you know, live streaming appears to be the way that we're the only safe way for us to interact these days. So, you know, at least we got that going for us. Otherwise I wouldn't see anybody at all. I'll just be stuck in here. I mean, got my wife, my brother, and my dogs, but you know, they don't know anything about cameras, so I can't talk to them. I can talk to you guys. But ooh, that's a good segue right there, actually. Because speaking of cameras, like I said, my Ursa Mini, which was my A cam for the longest time, the Ursa Mini 4.6, didn't make it through the fire, got destroyed, and because of that, I'm going to be getting, well, sort of did get, but whatever. Insurance is going to be reimbursing me for the cost to replace it. So I was looking and I was considering, I was like, okay, well, I have the Pocket 4K and I have the Pocket 6K. It's like, do I really want to get another Ursa Mini? And I think I do in the future, but I think I want to wait until there's something like a G3 or something like that, because I feel like that is due soon. I feel like they could take, you know, the 6K sensor from the Pocket 6K and put it in an Ursa body and have a 6K Ursa or something even higher. Anyway, I just felt like I would be kicking myself if I purchased like a G2 and then something better came out. So I did something really not me. I bought a camera that I knew very little about. I have been hands-on with prototypes at NAB, and yeah, I usually do a lot more research, and I usually like to test stuff out first, but I didn't do that. I think I was just going crazy from not having any cameras for 4 months that I decided to jump on this, and it was something I was very interested in, and I bought a Zcam. A Zcam E2, and actually I bought the full frame 6K version. So the Zcam E2 F6 is what I purchased. And not only that, but I have rigged this puppy out to be a serious little cinema camera, and we're kind of calling it the like mini red because now it's so modular and everything's strapped onto it and whatnot. But yeah, right here, the Zcam E2 F6. And yes, you guys may remember my Schneider lenses. They were in a Pelican case, all but the 50 mil. The 50 millimeter was on the Ursa and got toasted, but I do have a replacement coming for that. But the rest of the set that I had, they got cleaned and they survived the fire, and I am so happy to have these back. But yeah, in here somewhere is a Zcam E2 F6. Full frame 6K ProRes or Z-Log. I haven't tried the Z-Log yet. I've shot a little bit in the ProRes. Really haven't had a whole lot of time to actually go and shoot with it because I got the camera and it came in, but I had no lenses. So I was still waiting on lenses to come back to me. So just last week I got my lenses back, and so I was able to go ahead, and this isn't connected right now because it's I'll show you guys all this stuff that I've done. So I do want to do some content on this rig and this setup and kind of what I've done here, because obviously I got a lot more than just the camera going on here. New to me also is this, Tilta Nucleus Nano follow focus system. So you can see it up there on the front on the lens. Really cool idea is that I can do handheld like this and be pulling my focus if I'm handheld, but then I could strap a wireless transmitter on this for video. I can pop this off and hand it to my AC to go and pull focus for me somewhere else, and then I can just pop it straight on there. I have the whole rig running from V-mount battery here, so it looks, it works great. Small rig. There's a cage on here. I'm usually not a cage guy, and you guys have heard me before. Like I said, this decision was totally not typical me. I don't know what happened. I just threw caution to the wind. Cages, Z-cams, full frame. What am I doing? 6K? Well, I guess I kind of had 6K with the Pocket 6K, but I really only shot in 4K. And I'll probably mostly shoot in 4K with this guy. But this is a really cool setup. So I've got, a lot of small rig stuff on here, got the handle on the other side and whatnot. Top handle up here. And something that's really, really cool that I want to show you guys that I really want to look into is this monitor. So I don't know if you guys can see here, but this monitor is the Portkeys BM5. And it's full metal. I want to do a review on it, but you can see it's got all these connections and stuff going on in the back here. So one is power, so it's running off the V-mount. But one also goes to this control unit right here called the BT1, which is an optional attachment. Now, what this BT1 does, it means that when I use this monitor, if I use it with my Pocket 4K or Pocket 6K, it's a Bluetooth module. So this monitor is touchscreen, and you can actually control the Pocket cameras via Bluetooth with this right here, which is pretty cool. Now, it also has this cable coming out the bottom here, which connects directly into the Z-Cam, and I can use it on here to control the Z-Cam. Because the Z-Cam has no screen, doesn't have any touchscreen, and the buttons are a little finicky to go through the menu, but you can actually start, stop, control, full menu control, and everything from this directly here. So it's very similar to like a Red, where you strap the monitor on and now it controls everything. It also has an output for the Tilta nucleus motor down here. So it powers it, and you can even control the focus motor from the monitor if you wanted to do some focus adjustments that way. So it's really freaking cool. And I really want to do an in-depth look at this, like, because there's a ton going on with this rig, with this combination, with the Tilta, with the port keys. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. Let me look at some of the comments here. I see a lot of like, who are you and what have you done with Bart? Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking, guys. This is what happens when a cinematographer doesn't have any cameras for 4 months. I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I mean, I've so far I've been pretty impressed. Like, this is actually a pretty cool camera. Will it become my A camera? I don't know. I really am used to Blackmagic. I really like the picture and the image quality and the look and the color science of Blackmagic. So I will really have to dive into the image of this and the color and see where it'll fall into my lineup. But yeah, so I did a thing. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, Furworks was saying, yeah, I think we're due for a new Ursa. You know, I was saying that after the Pocket 6K came out with that new Super 35 sensor. I was like, ooh, I can see this going into a bigger body very soon. Rob says, holy crap. Yep. Jem says, still looks rather light. Yeah, actually, this rig isn't actually too bad at all. I mean, I can hold it one-handed and I'm not super straining. And to be honest, most of the weight is the lens. I mean, this is not a lightweight lens that's on here. It's nice that they have this, you know, the locking sort of cine style mount EF, but the locking style mount there. Camera body is full metal, but yeah, it is very, very manageable in terms of weight. Even with all this stuff, you know, I've got a battery bolted on here. I've got tons of metal that I've bolted on. The monitor is all metal, so it's not a light piece either. But I'm still holding this one-handed without, you know, sweating or dying or anything like that. So haven't weighed exactly how much this is, but I would say I could cut the weight of this in half by putting just a different lens on it. But I missed my Schneiders, so I had to put them on there. You know, it'd probably be easier and lighter to run with like a Canon 24-105 on there or something like that. But like I said, I really miss my Schneiders. So what else do we got? Trevor says it was between the F6 and the S1H. I went with the S1H because it also does lovely photos as well. Yeah, that's a good call. You know, that's definitely a hybrid camera, and the Z-Cam definitely is not. So if you did need photo and video, you can't go wrong with that S1H. Trevor says the Schneider looks brand new. Yeah, that is the benefit of all these things that came back. Like, I always keep my gear pretty clean too, but everything has been like professionally clean. So like everything looks really good that came back, which is actually kind of cool. New Legend Pictures, show us, who are you and what have you done with Bart? Yeah, so that must have been where I was teasing you about the camera before I actually put it on screen. Sorry, I had to draw it out. It's all about building that suspense, Aaron, my bad. And Alex has been hearing a lot about that monitor. Yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere. I haven't tried the Bluetooth with the Pockets yet, but that was another purchasing factor for me because I like my gear to work with as much of my other gear as possible. So if I have that BM5 and I can use it to control all three of my cameras now. I can control the Pocket 4K if I'm on that one. I can control the Pocket 6K if I'm on that one. And I can control the Z-Cam if I'm on that one. So I really like that. It's not like I bought it and I'm like, oh, this only works with the Z-Cam, so this monitor will live with the Z-Cam. Because for me, I like to get as much value out of a purchase or an investment as we should be calling it, as possible. And yeah, that BM5 is pretty amazing. So I do have links down below if you guys are interested in this. It has been going out of stock pretty quickly because the popularity of it is kind of skyrocketing. But I have links down below to both it with that with the Bluetooth module, the BT1. That is the only way to control the pocket cameras because they don't have a remote in. But then I also have it's also available without that module, and then you just buy the appropriate cable from them to whatever camera you want to control. It can do all other cameras too. I mean, it can do Sony's, it can do Canon's, it can do, if you check it out, it's got a huge list of functionality that you can do to control the cameras. Start, stop, everything, ISO, you know, zoom if you have motorized zoom on there. Like it's pretty cool. Let's see what we got. Bad Karma's asking, are you going to do a studio tour for a video? I assume you're talking about when the new studio gets built. Yes, for sure. And I'm actually planning on trying to document as much of that process as possible. So construction hasn't started. Everything's literally just been stripped. The walls are all gone. The entire basement is just concrete floor, burnt ceiling beams, and just 2x4 framing for the walls. Everything is out. So I think before we start, I'll probably go in and start documenting what it looks like, and then maybe do a little series documenting as it goes along and gets rebuilt. Yeah, I mean, it sucks, of course, but you know, the plus side is I'm going to be able to do whatever I want with that space now. Like if I want, like, okay, I want HDMI ports or an SDI port coming out of the wall over there and run through the ceiling and popping out over here. You know, if I want to do a multicam setup without having cables running all over the place, I can do that now. I can put, you know, ports wherever I want. And I'm excited about it. It'll be cool. Alex is saying, yeah. Oh, I must have skipped over that. Trevor's saying Zcam color science is quite good. Glad to hear it. Yes, justify my purchase. Definitely want that monitor for my Pocket 4K. Yeah, Aaron, like I said, there's links down in the description if you want to go check it out. Just make sure that for the Pockets, you have to get the one that has that Bluetooth module, the BT1. And Mr. Kevin, the Basic Filmmaker, how are you, man? Yeah, thank you for the welcome back. It is good to be back. I've been popping in and catching your live streams when I can, but I've been watching all the replays also on your Uncut channel, and I always enjoy popping those on and seeing you just talk to people, and you're like, I don't care. I like it. I like it. I'm noticing here that the bottom of this is cutting off the most recent chat. So let me see here. You know what? Maybe we just ditch this footer. You guys know how to use the chat, right? You know, do I really need this here? No, this is superfluous. Gone. Now I can actually see everybody's chat because it was cutting off just that bottom thing. I could have also shifted everything up just a little bit, but you know, I'm working on it. I'm working on a complete kind of redesign of the stream, trying to streamline it a little bit. A graphic designer, I am not. So you know, this is like the best I could do. It's like, oh, look, a little gradient, and then it goes to a transparency. Yeah, I'm not very good. So I might get some help from somebody down the road with designing some of the assets for the stream. But you know, it's not a gaming thing. I don't need it to be crazy and all that. But you know, we'll go. You know, I got some cool stuff though. I figured out how to do stuff like this. So if it is your first time here, or for some reason you guys aren't already, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Really gonna have to relearn that. Go ahead and subscribe. Oh, I gotta get better at that. It's a good stream to be back. Let's see what we got going on here. Their engineering team is so active and responsive. Great bunch of guys. He's talking about Zcam. Yeah, I know they are. They're really active on Facebook. I'm part of the Facebook group on there, and I've heard that it almost acts as their tech support and customer support. You can just pop in there. They answer. They're really responsive. You can suggest new features and all sorts of stuff. So Zcam is actively working on and improving their products, even so to the point that if you look at some of the listings, like I think if you look at the B&H listing for the Zcam E6 or E2 F6, the one I got, the frame rates and resolutions that it lists on there, those aren't even accurate anymore. They've boosted some of them so it can actually do more than it says on that site. So you got to keep tabs on them. They're finding new ways to squeeze stuff out of this little powerhouse of a camera, which is pretty cool. FurWorks, using a few different apps. Sorry, what are we looking at here? Using a few different apps, and some shoots it goes off without a hiccup. Some shoots constantly get out of sync with the camera. Which camera is that? FurWorks, which camera are you talking about there? Different apps. And some shoots it goes off without a hiccup. Did I miss something? Oh, okay, I see. I missed something for FurWorks. FurWorks, you said, I wonder how reliable the port keys control for the Pocket 4K is. I found the Bluetooth control a little flaky, but I still use it all the time. Okay, so you're wondering about the Bluetooth of the Pocket 4K itself. You're saying you've used some apps, some outside apps to try and control the Pocket 4K, and it's been a little bit flaky. So you'd wonder how the connectivity is from the port keys, because it has to use that Bluetooth connectivity. I'll make sure to check that out. I know we're in touch on Discord and all that. So I'll try and check that out for you. But guys, that also brings up another wonderful thing. You know, as great as it is to be here and be chatting with you guys in video form and all that, we don't have to keep the chat just here. You know, especially because, you know, I went dark for like 4 months. But you can always stay in touch with me and we can chat and have conversations and check stuff out on my Discord server. There's a link in the description down below. You can go ahead, you can join that server. It's just for people to hang out, chat, share stuff, ask questions. And I've always got it open pretty much, and I get alerts. So if you have questions for me or want to share stuff with me or need some help, feel free to pop in there, join that, and join the group. You know, really trying to get that going. It'll be a nice collaborative space for people to share cool stuff and help each other out. So let's see what we got here. Gary's asking, have you ever used a timecode device? I recently picked up a Tentacle Sync. Any thoughts? You know, I have not used a timecode, you know, like a timecode syncing device or a timecode jammer or whatever you want to call them. I know the Tentacle Syncs. You know, I really haven't. I have done multicam shoots, but I'm not syncing them via timecode. I'm usually syncing them with a slate, and they're not usually long enough that I run into like sync drift or anything like that. I know a lot of it has to do more with sound, and what is it? Curtis Judd has, of course, Curtis Judd. Curtis Judd, I think, has a fantastic video about those tentacle synkies or whatever they called. And using those in the best way to do it. So unfortunately, I don't know a whole lot about that, but yeah. Bad Karma, I skipped your question? Which one? Ask me again. Are you going to a studio tour in a video? Is that the one? Or did I? So yes, I am, you know, and I want to document the new studio being built. But if it was a different question and I missed it, please go ahead and ask it again, man. Sorry about that. Kevin's asking, so I missed so far, are you using OBS for this? If so, how are you doing the comment overlay? Oh, that's a good question. Yes, I am using OBS. And actually this comment overlay here is actually a CSS code. I wonder if I can pull it up and show you guys how I do it. Yeah, let's do that. Hang on, let me pull up my website. But yeah, it's a CSS code that you can inject into OBS. Where is it? YouTube Tools. Let's see if this thing still works here. Is it the YouTube chat CSS or was it this one? Okay. So here, I'll put the link in the chat here if you want to check this out. So there's a link in the chat there, Kevin, if you want to go ahead and check that out. But I will pull this up. Let me move myself over there. And move this to here. Move the chat there. So yeah, guys, we're just kind of hanging out. So if you guys have any questions and stuff like that here, I will gladly show you. So let's see. Get my OBS tools up. Let's go to my main screen. Yeah, there you go. So this is the website that I just sent you or shared the link to in the chat. I'll make a note to put this in the description down below. But basically what you do is you can customize all the stuff that you want here. And then it gives you this CSS code down at the bottom that you can then copy. So you can customize this, fonts, colors, size, whatever you want. You do that. And then here I'm going to bring over OBS so you guys will get a little inception. But I won't be able to show you. So on the live chat, so I have a live chat thing, but basically I create a browser or like a web source and then paste that CSS chat in there. And then before each stream, what I do is I pop out the chat. So here you go. See this? This is our chat here. But up at the top, if you right click this, it'll give you a copy website address, and then I paste that into it and it brings it in, so it does this. So each time you have to set it up, but I'll hook you up if you want to send me an email or something. I'll guide you through doing it. But there's that link in the chat there if you want to check that out. It's a custom CSS right here. So let's go back to our chat. Get myself all put back together here. 3 screens is good and bad because it's like I got enough space for everything, but where did I put everything? All right, let's see where I am. Oh, Kevin, I see you asked it again. Sorry, it took me a little bit to get to it. Timecode device, you talked about that. New Legend Pictures, Aaron says, not sure if you saw my earlier comment about the cable for that monitor to the Blackmagic. The cable, so I don't believe there is a cable for... Oh, I see your thing here. On the product overview on B&H, it says it comes with a cable for the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K, and Ursa Mini. No, that can't be right. That can't be right at all. Because the Bluetooth is the only way. There's no remote input on the Pocket cameras in terms of like a LANC cable. The Ursa Mini did have it. And it has a LANC cable, and so you'd be able to control it with the cable from the port keys, but you would need to do something else. There we go. Oh my goodness, Kevin, the Basic Filmmaker with a super chat. I haven't had one of those in so long. Thank you, man. Been looking for this forever and found nothing. You demand. Yeah, like I said, if it's too much of a pain, because I remember I'm not good with that coding and everything, but I have been able to consistently get it to work for me. So if you do have any questions about it, we can either like Skype chat or email, or we'll connect if you have any issues getting that chat to work on your stream there. Let's see here. Usually they're just for the editor of the quick syncer, so there we're talking about timecode sync. They do work with the Blackmagic Pocket if you plug a TRS cable from the tentacle into the 3. Oh, okay. So the sync. So we were talking about the sync, right? So the tentacle syncs will work with the Pocket 4K if you plug them into the 3.5 mic jack. Yeah, because it's generating time code over the audio signal. Yes, sorry, I was getting wires crossed whether we were talking about that or whether we were talking about the port keys monitor, because the port keys monitor needs to control over Bluetooth. See what we got. When timecode works, great. When it works, it's great, but when it doesn't, then you also can't have scratch audio, then you're really in trouble. Yeah, that's a good point. If you're eating up your audio channel and your timecode messed up, and then you don't have the scratch audio or a visual cue to sync, then you're gonna be pulling some of your hair out there. Bad Karma said, yeah, that was it, bro. Thanks. Yeah, sorry about that. I think I gave a sort of roundabout answer to your question about the studio. Yeah, you better believe I'll be doing some studio tours and showing you guys off how I get everything set up and rebuilt. And like I said, I plan on taking you guys through that process as much as possible too. Let's see here. Rob was asking, Trying to catch up here. Rob was asking, where do your Blackmagic Pocket Cinema cameras fit into your productions? So that's interesting. So there's going to be a little shift now because my Ursa Mini was always my A cam and the Pocket 4K was my B cam. And so I would go out with those two cameras on the majority of my shoots. So what I would do is I would set up the Ursa Mini for my interviews, but my Pocket 4K would sort of permanently live on my Moza Air 2 gimbal. And because I was shooting these things where I had to cover everything in a single day, it was multiple interviews and B-roll all by myself, it was nice because I could have the Ursa shoot the interview and then we wouldn't have to tear everything down and then move to the next spot necessarily to go shoot B-roll. I would just grab the Pocket 4K on the Moza Air 2. I would go get my B-roll, whether they're Michael Bay gimbal shots or even just like locked off just because the gimbal allowed me to do that. You know, and you know, they didn't have to be crazy over the top gimbal shots all the time. But that was what it was. I was cutting those two together. Then the 6K came into the mix because I was intrigued by it. And I used that. I used all three of them actually on a project as an A, B, and C cam. And then actually after that, soon after that shoot, the fire happened. So I haven't really figured out a new lineup. So what I'm thinking now is, depending on how the Z-Cam image is and how I like their color science, you know, the 6K may become my A-Cam. I don't know. Or even the Pocket 4K. So I really don't know. I feel like I have 3 adequate possible A-Cams right now, so I haven't figured out the best configuration. And let's not forget, I still have a Panasonic GH5. We can't forget about that poor guy. I mean, he does fantastic. I popped that into a, you know, an Atomos recorder, which I guess I'll have to buy a new Atomos recorder because those got torched. But, you know, then I can be getting ProRes off of that too. So I got a lot still to figure out. And I've been retooling and rethinking a lot and changing stuff up. So I don't know who's going to be my my flagship camera. You know, maybe I'll make a reality show of it. You know, do like a Bachelor thing. Like I give one of them a rose and you guys will be like, oh my God, he chose the... I don't know what I'm talking about. It's going to be a long time if we have to stay in our houses for longer than this. Again, long answer, but I don't know. I don't know exactly how I'm going to set that up. Let's see here. Seems like quite the process. I know this Z-Cam does most flavors of ProRes, but how's the RAW shaping up? Have you tried it, Trevor? I have not tried the RAW yet. I have done a little grading of ProRes 6K with their Z-Log profile and some LUTs, but I have not played with the RAW yet. So that's on my list. I need to do that. And then we had Basic Filmmaker Super Chat, freaking awesome. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. That's so cool. Glad I could help you out with that as well. And Rob, there's a video, BBTS shows you how to stream, or just push us all to Epos Fox. Yes, there's that too. If you need to know how to do anything in OBS, go over to Epos Fox. I have watched legitimately his whole like 5-hour course on OBS. I did that when I was first getting into streaming, and he does a great job. So yeah, he does a lot of stuff for PC, so not all of it converts over to Mac. Because I know on PC you can get what's called SLOBS, S-L-O-B-S. It's Streamlabs OBS. So it's the Streamlabs company has their own version that has a whole lot more plugins and kind of cool stuff you can do that so far is not available on Mac. You know, I just have the standard OBS. Yeah, Epos Fox, awesome. He's a dude I'd like to meet sometime. Unfortunately, our sort of, you know, our realms... You know, I'm filmmaking, he's more streaming and gaming and computer stuff, so I don't know if our paths will ever cross, but he'd be a cool guy to meet. Another super chat from Rob. Thanks, man. Have a coffee on me. Awesome, dude. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'll have a sip of tea right now for that. You know, I love my iced tea. But thank you, man. That's amazing. I really, really appreciate it. You guys may have noticed that we're right about the hour mark here. Normally this is where I'd be like, oh, we gotta go. But you know what? I'm going to kind of hang out today and keep chatting. So if you guys have any questions, I'm not saying we're going to go until like the sun goes down or anything like that. But I'd like to hang out as long as we can, for a bit and chill and talk about stuff and get all these questions answered. Which, maybe in the next 5 minutes and maybe in the next hour. I don't know. We'll see what we do. So, or after all the talking makes me lose my voice or something like that. Let's see here. Legend Pictures, could you use the USB-C for control? We're still talking about control on the Pockets, I believe. No, you cannot use the USB-C. USB-C is for data output only and power? I forget. I used to know these things, man. Quit putting me on the spot, Aaron. But from what I know from Portkeys is that the only way to control the Pocket Cams is to get that Bluetooth module. I'll definitely be testing that out to see how well it works. Yes, the sync. Maybe I was wrong. Now we're talking about the sync. I don't know where we are. Gary says exactly, and use the XLR for sound. Oh, okay. So wait, is the USB-C? So are you talking about the Tentacle sync? The Tentacle sync will work over USB-C into the. Oh wait, no, you use the. I'm confusing myself, and now I'm going to end up confusing you guys. So USB-C cannot be used to control when we're talking about the Portkeys monitor, but when you're using the Tentacle sync, different thing for timecode. You send the timecode in the 3.5 millimeter, so you have your timecode, but you can also record that second channel using the XLR breakout of it, so that you can still have an audio track in there safe and you have timecode on your audio. Got it. We're talking multiple products, multiple inputs. You guys may have had it all figured out. Maybe I was just the only one who was making a mess of it. Sorry about that. Let's see what we got here. Damascus Diary, when will you do how to shoot a barbecue hangout? Yeah, so actually I was looking in that last stream that I did before the fire. Of course, it was my annual barbecue where I smoked a turkey for our Friendsgiving. So yeah, that was my outdoor stream. We will of course continue the annual, but we have to wait. Actually, I've set it up, and I've been doing. There's no content on it yet. I don't know why I've done this to myself, but I've set up another YouTube channel, and it is all just about barbecue. It is called Backyard BartBQ. See what I did there? No content on it yet, and I haven't started shooting anything. But I'm a big barbecue and cooking guy as well, so I figured, this could be cool. Just give myself something else to do, as if I didn't have enough going on. But yeah, so if you're into barbecue, keep an eye out for Backyard BartBQ. It's already on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and the YouTube channel is public, but there's no content on it yet. Not yet. Let's see here. How are your YouTube hours doing after all this time? My YouTube hours? Oh, view hours. You know what? I haven't even really looked at the analytics. I don't know if I'm afraid to, or I just kind of let it kind of fall off because there was nothing I could really do about it. Everything seems to have been pretty good. I mean, I love that we have, our core crew and audience in here. It's so great to have people back. I really plan on getting back into this. I don't know that I'm going to be able to do review content necessarily right away, but I'm going to have to, work on that and get everything back up and going. But we'll certainly get it going here. Let's see what we got here. Good question regarding the hours. Yeah, like I said, unfortunately, I haven't looked at the analytics. It's partially fear, but who knows? Let's see here. Were you planning to go to any of the conferences that we canceled this year? Actually, the amazing thing is I retired from the travel portion of my job, or at least the conference travel portion of my job, at the end of last year. So it's total coincidence, but no, I personally was not going to be traveling to any of these conferences that got canceled. It's kind of crazy, completely unrelated. It's like I had insider information or something, but I just decided I needed to spend more time at home and get things done. And and with everything that happened and whatnot, it's just, I can't be all over the world, and now nobody's all over the world. So yeah, talk about Basic Filmmaker, Damascus Diary, saw his channel. Yeah, Basic Filmmaker, man. Kevin's got an amazing channel. And then he has his Uncut live stream channel. So if you also look for the Basic Filmmaker Uncut, go over there. Kevin says, drop the link to the barbecue channel here so we can subscribe. Let me see if I can pull that up in the background here and give you guys a link to it. So I think it's... Unfortunately, since there's nothing on it... Obviously, I don't have a custom URL yet. Let's see. No, I don't even think we can search it really because there's absolutely nothing on it yet. But yeah, it's Backyard Bart BQ. I'll type it in the chat. So yeah, sorry, can't put a link up yet because there's nothing on it. So let's see what we got here. Rob says, I see what you did there and I want my money back. You don't like the Backyard barbecue? I thought it was perfect, man. I got a hilarious little like cartoon of me as well, like, you know, for it. It's pretty funny. You'll see it on social media and all that stuff. Please leave links for the barbecue channels. I promise you guys, as the content comes out, you'll find it. You know, just keep an eye out for Backyard Barbecue. Let's see here. I'm so willing to help you with the Piper blush solution. Just create a very long video, and I will make sure I play it and get a whole bunch of people to do the same. I'm not sure I know what you mean. We could boost these hours. Oh, okay. So yeah, just get a really long video, put that out there, and have a whole bunch of people watch it to boost the hours back up. Yeah, hopefully my hours are okay. I mean, I have a lot of well-performing older videos that are still relevant. You know, my biggest one is the Ronin, DJI Ronin versus a Steadicam. You know, it's just that argument is still valid today. People want to know how gimbals perform versus Steadicams. You know, obviously gimbal technology has come a ways, but the principles are still the same. So I do have a lot of core fundamental videos on the channel that sort of never go out of date, that have been getting search traffic and have been seen. So while things I think have gone down a bit, it appears at least that you know, during these past few months of the lull, that I'm okay. I think so. I'll have to dig in there a bit deeper. Let's see here. I thought that once you've been monetized, you stay monetized. Now, you know what? Maybe. Do we? I have no idea. But anyway, you know I don't do this for the monetization. Who cares? I don't care if I'm valid or not. I mean, it feels good, yeah, like to be monetized and official and all that kind of stuff, and make you guys sit through, you know, 5 seconds of an advertisement for whatever the algorithm has decided you should be shopping for at the beginning. But yeah, I don't know. You know, I would do this even if I had to climb my way back up again. I like it, man. I like it. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Trevor says, honestly, barbecue stuff on YouTube has a pretty strong and loyal following. I follow a couple guys. There are a lot of people really into barbecue. Yeah, I know. I got to make sure it doesn't, you know, don't worry. I'll never leave you guys in the filmmaking, you know. If anything, I'm going to be like the cinematographer who brings his cinematography to barbecue, because I think I could really, I mean, who sees barbecue cooks with like a motorized slider shot? You know, that's the kind of stuff that I would do in there. But, you know, first and foremost, obviously, I'm a cinematographer. I'm a video guy. Bart Johnson Productions is my company. You know, I'm not a pro barbecue chef. I'm just a backyard cook kind of guy. But yeah, this is where it's at. So we'll keep things going here. Don't you guys ever worry. But you know, if anything, it'll double the amount that you get to see me if you follow me on both. So that'll be cool. But yeah, is there anything that you guys specifically wanted to talk about? You know, obviously one of the big things is NAB was canceled. I was going to NAB. Luckily, it was very easy to cancel my hotel and also my flight and get reimbursed for those. I was so lucky. I've never had it be easier. But that's unfortunate. But it makes sense. Obviously, even since it was canceled, things have gotten worse and worse. All the hotels I think are even like shut down in Vegas now, which is crazy. And so I think we're going to be seeing a lot of different. Probably live content. I know Aperture has a plan to do a lot of live content and workshops and stuff and show off new products. So it's gonna be interesting. Maybe for a lot of you who don't actually go to the show, maybe it'll be no different because, like I used to do, I used to live vicariously through the teams that went to, or the YouTube channels that went to NAB, and I would religiously watch their content each day as it came out and sort of live vicariously through that. So while I became accustomed, I think I've gone the past 5 years in a row, while I've become accustomed to being, there and on the floor, I'll have to sit back and have the content come to me from the internet, just like we used to, and obviously not from the show floor, but rather from the vendors themselves. It's a bummer because I was once again going to be going to the Black Magic press conference that they always have. So they always live stream that as well. So going to it, it's not like you get anything before the rest of the world does. They always live stream it and whatnot. So I'm sure they're going to do the exact same thing, live stream an hour-long thing showing us their new products and maybe a G3, who knows. Let's see what we got here. Rob says, I've asked this elsewhere, but would be interested in your take. Everything will eventually get back to normal, but how do you think the industry will permanently change? Ooh. You know what? I've wondered that not just about our industry, but about a lot of things. So if you think about stuff like I think about like the Great Depression, okay? Stock market crashes, banks don't have the actual physical funds on hand when people want to withdraw their money. It's just numbers on paper that's not backed up by actual currency, and they had all these issues, and it caused a huge, the Great Depression caused a giant problem in our country's history, in the world's history, because it affected global economy. But then after that, there were things put in place to make sure that sort of thing really didn't happen again, or at least didn't happen to that level. Obviously things can still go wrong and markets can still crash. What I'm wondering is what we're going to see to ensure that not only in our industry, but in all industries, that something like this doesn't happen again. Not necessarily saying like from a healthcare perspective, like how do we stop viruses from spreading, because, that's going to happen. Things can mutate, things can change. It'd be awesome if we could stop and stop them dead in their tracks right away, and maybe someday in the future we can. But the effect that it has had and the different approaches that it's like everybody's locking themselves in their own house in terms of like countries. Not like us individuals, but like one country's doing their own thing, another country seems to be doing their own thing, another country seems to be doing their own thing. But I'm wondering if like systems will be in place, economically, to support people in the event that something like this happens in the future. And I would hope that our industry would kind of be the same. Like I said, maybe I don't know that it'll change the way that we actually conduct business, but I think it may change. We may have a few safety nets financially for people, or even people who are freelancers will implement their own safety nets in ways that they can. Like I said, that idea of if you have a freelancer that works with you all the time, somebody that you hire all the time on your shoots. And you think that they're struggling right now, maybe prepaying them for a couple days of their service, sometime in the future would help them get through this period here, to kind of spread the wealth and try and help them out. If you could spare, 3 days or 4 days of their day rate and they're hurting right now, maybe offer to pay them that now and then get 4 days of work from them down the line when projects start coming back in. Stuff like that. It's hard for me to say. I'm obviously no expert in economics, and all of that, and I'm decent enough at business to not go out of business. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But I would really hope that we could be more prepared for a situation like this, financially, in the future, and that's what I think will hopefully lessons that we can learn out of this, because the health wise and biological wise, I don't know that there's anything you can really do to prepare for something like that, but the repercussions from it, I think we can get better at handling. Just my thought. So let's see what we got. What do I think of the A10 Mini? That is a very good question. So the A10 Mini, I've really been interested in it. So, obviously I'm good here. I have a single camera, nothing super fancy. I can switch to my various screens, with my little switcher, my Elgato Stream Deck here. So I'm pretty happy. I'm recording directly into the computer and it's fine. OBS is shutting everything out. That's great. But as you know, majority of my streams that I was doing were in my studio where I had multiple cameras, and I was, switching back and forth between them. And the A10 Mini would be fantastic for something like that. The only thing is that I want to also be able to record those cameras, and when they're mounted in all the different places, I don't necessarily want to record internally to all of them. So I've been playing with trying to figure out a way to run everything from, multiple cameras through recorders. I was literally looking at buying like 4 Ninja 5s. This is down the road, maybe, and running through there so that when I wanted to record, to edit a show, I could just pop the drives in and record to them and then send that to an A10 Mini. Then I feel like I'm running cables and stuff all over the place. So I don't know. The A10 Mini looks very, very good. I don't like that it has limited capabilities at this time in terms of inputting video assets and overlays and stuff like this. Right now it doesn't appear that you can do that, and I can do that very, very well in OBS with the Stream Deck controlling. So I don't know. The benefit for me of the ATEM is the inputs. It's that you can input multiple devices into it, as opposed to needing like 4 capture cards in a computer or a bunch of cam links or whatever to, one for each camera. It is very interesting. I just got to figure out the best way for it to suit my workflow, or what I want my workflow to be, rather. Let's see what we've got here. Domestic diary, we will engage in a new economy based on social distancing if we're smart enough. It could be interesting. Let's see here. Rob says, how many people will just keep working from home? That's interesting. For me, not a lot has changed, at least in the past months. I mean, I work in this room. This is where I get my work done. So being home all day, I make phone calls, I send emails, I plan shoots all across the world from this desk right here, and get stuff done. Now, I do, of course, want to get back out on the road and go start doing some of these shoots like I was once everything calms down. The reason I didn't is because I didn't have any equipment, but now I do, and now we're on quarantine. But, a lot of my job and a lot of other people's jobs is isolation, social distancing, so who knows? Let's see here. Monetization. Okay, so Kevin's got something. Monetization. You are monetized for each channel. Each new channel starts over again. Yeah. I didn't think my barbecue channel was gonna start off monetized. I gotta work for it. Gotta climb that mountain. So we'll get there. Kevin says, I decided to get the A10 Mini. I should have pulled the trigger. Can't find them anywhere. All on back order. Wow, okay. I knew they were super popular for that price, but I didn't know they were that hard to get. I don't have any use for it right now because I really like the setup. And to be honest, this desk that this company, so this entire house was furnished by a company that our insurance company hired. So none of this stuff is our furniture. And it's like cheap hotel furniture. And this desk is considerably smaller than the one that I had in my old office, but I still have all the same things. So I have I wish I had an overhead camera to show you guys this. There is just a mess of Stream Deck, Shuttle Express, Loop Deck Plus, my mixer, and everything is just jammed onto this desk. There's no more room for any devices. Definitely not for an A10 Mini. Let's see here. Would it make you happier if more people work from home? That'd be interesting. Gary, I love it and finding a lot of uses for it. Is it the A10 Mini, I guess? Yeah. Works like a charm on Ninja 5 to record output of HDMI. So that's cool. So yeah, you output it through the Ninja 5 and record. So you have a recording of your switched feed. That's pretty cool. Just curious what people think of the knock-on effects. I think the post 9/11 impacts on travel. What are the permanent impacts of this tragedy? You know, I'm not going to get into even speculating about all that kind of stuff. And I mean, everything I feel is uncertain. I see stuff every day in the news that has me being like, wow, never thought I'd see that. So we'll just have to see how things go. A lot of talk about how things will change, you know, travel, economy, that kind of stuff. Rob says, I'm already working from home and it ain't necessarily a financial security solution. Do it for personal reasons, be your own boss, etc. Yeah, very true. It's really funny. I saw a meme out there that I thought was great. Somebody posted it. It was just like, oh, it's like that moment you find out that your lifestyle or that your normal lifestyle is apparently called quarantine. I was like, yeah, that sounds, yep. It's like, I do spend a lot of time in this house and a lot of time in this room of the house too. Oh, goodness. But, you know, you gotta laugh at these things, man. Like, we gotta. Like, what else are you gonna do? Rob saying can't find them in Canada either. Yeah, wow, didn't know they're so bad. So out of stock. I mean, I'm sure global shipping is taking a hit. You know, just because of personnel. There's no personnel to work the warehouses. There's no personnel to unload the docks. There's restrictions about, you know, stuff coming in from one country to another. So everything's going to be disrupted, not just because of quarantine things, but just because like the people can't go to work to do these things. The people that, you know, make our infrastructure work. You know, there's going to be holdups. So, you know, hopefully it means that there will be like a boom of all these things that have been out of stock, like when they suddenly get restocked, and we'll be like, hey, we got everything that we want. So there you go. Talking a little bit about being your own boss and balancing that, and safety nets and lifestyle and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it could get into all that deep stuff, but I won't do that, and give you guys my, you know, philosophy course on be your own boss and all that. So, you know, for a lot of things I kind of am my own, but I do also work full-time in addition for another company as well. And you know, it's all video related, so no matter what I'm doing something that I love. And I hope you guys are too. So that's good. Let me take a look here. I'm still keeping my eyes on the chat. I'm trying to make sure that I didn't skip anything. Oh, I want to show you guys something funny. I'll tell you that. So I told you I got the Elgato key light that's lighting me up here right now. And I set this over here because this thing comes with, it has to be the largest instruction manual I've ever seen in my life. And I don't mean like a thick instruction book. I mean like the largest instruction panel I've ever seen in my life. It's the size of the whole box the thing was in. Basically, it tells you, screw it on, plug it in, download the software. That's it. That's what it says. And I just thought it was hilarious. I was like, was that really necessary for that giant cardboard panel to be in there? When it could have been like, most of the time now, things don't even come with that. They come with like a, you know, go to this website and download this PDF and it'll show you how to do it. But I just thought that was absolutely hilarious. The thing was gigantic. Let's see here. Talking about, I love that lifestyle. Yeah, the quarantine lifestyle. Yeah, I'm all about that quarantine life, right? You know, stay inside and edit. Looks like Rob and Damascus Diary are getting together. Marry me and take me to Canada, please. All right. Well, you guys do whatever you want. You know, whatever works for you guys. That's funny. Danny Grizzle saying ATEM mini shortages are due to demand. I ordered last year and took 3 months. Wow. Wow. But you did get it. You did get one, Danny. And are you liking it? And how are you using it? Are you, yeah, let me know what you think of it there. But yeah, I guess it is just because of demand. I guess it's a super popular product. I mean, they pegged that price point on that thing too, man. How much is it? Sorry, I don't even remember. Isn't it only like $300? Here, let me pull up this screen here. Yeah, look at that, $295. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, even when you start looking at like the Elgato Stream Decks, like the XL that I have, I think it's got to be like $180. So you're getting a lot. I mean, it's different functionality. You know, obviously the Stream Deck can do a lot of things that the ATEM Mini can't, and it can control. I use it for shortcuts in Premiere, editing, and all sorts of stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, they nailed that price point, I feel, for people who just want a thing that you pop it on your desk, you put the inputs into it, you send the output to the computer, you use something like OBS to actually run the stream, and you're good to go. They crushed it. They crushed it on that one. Let's get back to our chat here. Let's see what we got. I'd make Alpha Gaming proud. All right. Love happens on Bart's channel. Yeah, I had no idea we'd be making some connections, love connections on here today. Oh, but you know, that's the beauty of the live. You gotta love that. You know, you never know what's gonna happen. Let's see here. Kevin's saying ATEM is limited, but my idea was the same: multiple cams, recording, etc. Thinking ATEM and feed OBS, record from OBS, and I'm good. Does that make sense? And is that workable? Yeah. Yes, that does make sense. So you're saying you would run all your cameras into the ATEM, then take the ATEM and run it into OBS, and you could both stream from there, or you could even just record. So OBS can record to your internal hard drive, whatever you want. The only thing you have to keep in mind there is your switching that you're doing on the ATEM is going to be locked in. So if you mess up a switch and you wish you could re-edit it later or something, you might be able to, as long as there's no audio going over it or something. But anyway, that whole the whole program is going to be locked in because you're just feeding it to it and it's recording exactly what it gets. What I was thinking of doing is I wanted to have a full recording of each camera before it went into the ATEM. So I would have to put a recorder on each. So realistically, it's 3 cameras that I use. I usually don't do 4, but I could do a 4th. But yeah, I would need a recorder per, which really made me wish that, sorry if I just hit my mic. It really made me wish that Atomos still made the Ninja Star. Like, I want the Ninja Star, but 4K capable. I don't need a screen. I don't need monitoring. I don't need anything else. Just something that I can plug inline that will record to either an SSD or a CFast card. Most people don't have them, but I have them lying around from the cameras that I use. And just something that would do that. Now, I know Blackmagic does have something like that. They have their shuttle deck, but they're super expensive. You know, I feel like this could be done so much cheaper by somebody to just have that inline stream recording, because then, you know, just set record on all those. Because a lot of times my third camera is in overhead, and I don't want to put a card in that and try and go. So I mean, first world problems all the way. Like I'm just being a brat about this for real. But they would go through, each camera feed would go into a recorder, would pass out of that recorder, go into the ATEM. You do your switching. That would be pumping out, for me, it would be pumping out to OBS and would go. But I would also have the recording of all the other things, so that if I wasn't live streaming, I don't need to send it to the computer. I could just do my thing, and I'm recording, you know, say I'm doing a review that I'm going to edit as opposed to stream. I have those 3 recorders, boop, 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 get them going. I have my camera angle 1, 2, 3, and then I take all that footage, dump it into Premiere, and I have my multi-track, and I can do it all together. That's the craziness. So I'm probably like severely overdoing it. But who knows? By the time my studio is built, maybe an affordable solution that can do that will come out. What I was thinking about to do that is was it the Shogun 7? Yeah, Atomos Shogun 7, because it can do switching on the screens, and it can record all 4 of those inputs separately, its own thing. So each camera feed is in its entirety, and it also records your switched program, all in that thing. The problem is they're limited to 1080p. Again, I'm being a brat here. I want the ability to possibly do 4K, even though I probably won't. So that's the only reason. But maybe do look into, well, the thing about that is then you have a monitor sitting there, you know, and you have to tap that monitor to switch your camera feeds. But, you know, maybe that would work for you. So look into that too, because that's a very capable monitor switcher, the Shogun 7. I believe is what it's called. But one thing to keep in mind is Gerald Undone did a video about using that, and one thing he said is that, yeah, it can, especially when you're pumping like 4 feeds into it, and if you're running it at like maximum brightness or whatever, it can get pretty loud. So it's not necessarily something that you want to be like in front of the camera or where your mic is pointing. So, you know, again, you're running into little quirks and kinks. All right, let's see what we've got here. Danny says, ATEM Mini critical key as we are thrust into virtualizing seminars. Oh, yeah. Had I not bought it, you would be SOL. SOL. Standards of learning, right? Nah, I know what you meant. But yeah, that's great. You know, that's such a small device that does exactly what you need, taking however many feeds you have in for, you know, seminars to be able to pump them out virtually since people can't physically attend. That's a great use for it. And let's see here. I bought a box to do the inline Todd card. I'm not sure what you mean there. Danny says, Atomos Sumo might be interesting for some. Records ISO on 4 HD feeds plus basic switching. So yeah, Danny, the Sumo and the Shogun 7 actually do the same thing, I believe. So the Sumo obviously is a much larger monitor. You know, it's 19 inches and you can touch and switch. But I believe the Shogun 7 now has that same switching capability. And yes, it records 4 1080p ISOs of each of the feeds. So each one is individually recorded into as well. Really, really cool. But like I said, I'm just being a pain in the butt and being like, well, why isn't it 4K? Then look at me 4K and I'll be like, well, I have 2 6K cameras. No, I won't be that guy. Quote me on that, because now in a year I'm going to be that guy, of course. Gosh. I'm a hypocrite. All right, let's see here. Rob says, Blackmagic designs pricing strategies either crazy or brilliant. You know what? I don't care which one it is. It works for us. So whether they're insane or genius, we get to reap the benefits. So let them keep doing it. I like that. Rob says, practically free NLE software, budget price cinema cameras, the ATEM Mini, but it seems like it's designed to lure you into 1K keyboards, etc. Yeah, you're very much right. You know, the software comes free with the cameras, you get all this stuff, it's great. And yeah, when they came out with that that editing keyboard, now it's like, oh, how much is it? They're $1,000. Like, whoa, no thanks. Which is why I went with a combination of my, you know, Shuttle Express and a Loop Deck and my Stream Deck, and works for me. Got something stuck in my teeth. I don't know how. I've been here the whole time. You guys have seen me. Let's see here. Gary's saying the Evolve 2 box will record a 1080p output to an SD card. Okay. I'll have to look into that. I know there's a lot of options out there. I really haven't explored it very much. Let's see what we got here. Kevin says, makes sense. Figure not live, so can pause and switch, edit Premiere Pro later from OBS recording like I do with the Stream Deck. Your method is for those with bigger brains, not me. It's probably even for bigger brains than mine. Like I'm only theorizing this. You know, cables have not been connected, and this theory has not been tested. But I would go take a look at Gerald Undone's video. Let me see if I can find that. Let me share this link for you. He did a cool one where he did a crazy setup with the Shogun 7. Sorry, let me find this here. Yeah, it's called "Do You Even Switch?" Make sure it doesn't play good. Let's skip ads. Sorry guys, let me get this link in here. Here you go. Kevin and anybody else interested, go ahead and check out that link there. And go check out Gerald's video there. He's got a ridiculous setup, and actually he's doing something similar to what I was talking about of putting a whole bunch of, no, he didn't put recorders in line. He did, he had to do converters because it's SDI in. So there's even more, but he took the theory and put the money down and put it all together to come up with something. So it'll show you at least how it does the internal recordings and the ISOs and all that kind of stuff. So you could run 4 cameras into one thing and either switch it or have it actually just record all 4, or record all 4 and the switched version. Interesting stuff there. Let's see what we got here. I'm thinking we might go ahead and start bringing this down to a close here, guys. I don't know how those people who stream for hours and hours do it. You know, the constant talking, I can feel it. I feel like I'm drying out and I'm going through my tea and everything. I'm doing what you're supposed to, but yeah. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. This has been absolutely awesome. Like I said, it is great to be back. I was waiting for stuff to come back until I had the opportunity to set everything back up and get it all working. And as soon as I had all the pieces that I needed, literally I got like the final pieces, like the key light came in last night in the mail, and I set everything up, figured it out, put the stream together. You know, did a little bit of testing, but was just going to throw caution to the wind, and you know, we're going to go live and see what happens. But it looks as though everything has worked, which is great. And I really look forward to doing more streams. You know, getting back to that weekly live stream Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you follow me on social media there. All the links to my social media stuff is down below. I do throw out alerts when I'm going live on all of those. We may up the live shows, I don't know, depending on how long these quarantines go. I may go stir crazy and miss you guys, and maybe I can't wait a week. So we may do that, but just, you know, the safest way, click that notification bell. Make sure you're subscribed and click that notification bell. Oh, darn it. Come on, Bart. That was the thing. That was what I was supposed to do. I made a button for it. Yeah, you go ahead and subscribe so you always know, and then click that notification bell. Talk about a missed opportunity. See, I'm 4 months. I need some practice, guys. I really need some practice to get back on it. But thank you to everybody who was hanging out here live. It has been awesome. If you're catching the replay and you made it this far, you are an absolute trooper, and I hope to see you in a live chat sometime in the future. Gonna keep working to get content going out. Gonna keep you guys posted on everything that's going on. This is the space we're going to be in probably for the rest of 2020. And so we're going to make it work, and we're going to figure it out. So you guys take care, and let me know what you think of this new outro stuff. Watch this. See you guys next time. Was it cool? You can tell me in the comments.